Y'all, there was a repeating theme of this episode, and that was basically the struggle, the hard knock life, the sob stories. I didn't know a prerequisite that to be on this show is that you had to have come from the gutter, come from living in office buildings, come from having family members passed away due to unforeseen circumstances, come from living on someone's floor. I, for one, am tired of hearing the sob stories. I'm tired of the narratives that, look, the struggle is where it's at, and I'm here because I'm trying to be different than everybody else. When, in all honesty, everyone's stories are starting to sound the same. Welcome back, y'all, to the DeAndre Way. Thank you for joining me on the airwaves. Today, we are going through the Rhythm and Flow Season 2, Episode Dos. And this episode, God, I was just, I don't know what happened between Season 1 and Season 2. There seems to have been a big shift, a big drop off, a big something has changed. It's been about 3, 4 years. That aired during 2020. It's 2024. I definitely don't remember seeing as many Trent come from the trenches stories. I definitely don't remember just that. I feel like I'm watching the NFL draft back in the day, and then in modern day too. Sometimes, not even as much now, but back in the day, if you watch the NFL draft throughout the years, they would go through the players, and usually the black players, they would go through their backgrounds. They come from the gutter, the trenches, the dirt, the swamp, everything. I mean, they came from nothing, everything but not everything but anything. They had, they were using, their hands as toilet paper. They were eating the grass in their yard so they could get some nutrients because they didn't have enough money to buy food at the grocery store. It was bad. And you kept seeing that repeated again and again. I mean, they even made parodies about it. I'm starting to feel a similar theme with this because every single person that comes up is just like the worst story in the world. And I'm just like, damn, is it ever going to end? And I think it's kind of clouding the show to where, yes, it's fine to show people's struggles. Don't get me wrong. Like, yes, it definitely can show me how fortunate I am, and I appreciate that. I did not come from the gutter, worst of the worst, you know? I lived in an apartment with my grandma growing up, and then we moved to our own house when I was pretty young. So I didn't have to deal with a lot of those things, and I'm fortunate and blessed because of that. But man, just seeing the same story over and over and over and over and over again, I'm just like, yo, what is going on? What is going on? And then also the lack I feel like the guy rappers in this show are being treated a little different than the girl rappers in the show. They're not given as much grace. They're not given as much leeway as certain things. Because majority we've had women come and dominate the show so far. Like this show has been dominated by women. They've been killing it too. Not no discredit to none of them. But I just feel like the balancing scales are not scaling correctly. Something's a little fishy here. I don't know what's going on. But by the looks of it, it looks like we're gonna have a woman champion. So we're gonna get right into it, y'all. We start out with this episode with Yoshi Vintage. She's from Flint, Michigan. Sob story, Trench's story. Talks about the bad water and how she moved to LA. She's like everyone in this bad situation, and she got out, which props to her. You know, if she would have stayed there, I was like, what are you doing staying there? If you're trying to do something, why would you stay? I don't get why people don't. I mean, it's not as easy to say as get up and move out of Flint, Michigan, or where you're from and grow. It's not that simple. But if you have any means to, get the hell out. So she's pretty loud talking about the struggle coming out the ghetto. We hear that throughout this episode. And she gets a Yoshi vintage chant going at the end of her flow, but she was good. I did like her. She killed it. And she was crying at the end of it. So yeah, she had it. Then we get this person named Rome from LA. He had a nice flow. I thought he was good. And he went through as well. Very, very clean. We get this girl named Mariah, I believe, and then C4. They both make it. They kind of go through them pretty quickly. You get this guy Tony the Kid, big dude. He makes it. Jax from North Carolina, her dad. We get a little montage of her and her dad. He's in a wheelchair. Something happens, and she's doing it for him. She seems real. She's a little older, but she seems real authentic. I like her as a dark horse in this competition. Definitely seems a little seasoned in the game and kind of knows what she's getting herself into because there's a lot of young bucks on this show. But she was going hard. I do like her a lot. I like her a lot. But at this point in the show, I was watching and I'm just like, man, as I keep saying, I feel like I'm a broken record, but a trench story after trench story, is that all necessary? I know they're trying to pull on our heartstrings a little bit, but I want to see a little bit more of the competition. I want to see more of the people who didn't make it. It seems like a lot of people were showing just made it. They showed some that didn't, but on first season, I think they did a nice even split. Now it's just majority of the people going on are pretty much making it for the most part. You can kind of tell if they're giving them a story, they're most likely making it. I think maybe one person didn't with the story, if that. So not really doing good job of keeping the parody alive in this show so far. At least in this episode, I'd say. But yeah, she's blessed, as she stated to the crowd. The judges in this episode, we do get our guest judge this episode is Busta Rhymes, the legend. He is one of the goats, in my opinion. He definitely changed the game completely with his flow, with his characterization, with his performance. I mean, there's nobody like Busta. There will ever be nobody like Busta, and he's still prominent today. So I definitely am glad he's on the show to give a completely different perspective on things, and he was keeping it real for the most part. So shout out to Busta Rhymes, man. He's a real one for sure. And if you don't know, then you better wisen up and learn who that is. But yes, Lotto. I'm gonna say this. I don't know why she's a judge on this show. She's just not giving any like real critiques. She just keeps saying like, I want to see them in the studio. Mm, I don't know. I like you though. I'm rooting for the girls. Like, Lotto, can you give a little constructive criticism? Because she got in a debacle with one girl that we're about to get into, and she had to check her. She's like, "Yeah, check me. I want that. I want that. Check me." But then she gave her a no. So apparently, she maybe have felt some type of way about her checking her. So I just don't. She's not adding into the show anything in the show. And then when they had a little meeting in the middle of the show where Lotto, Ludacris, and Khaled went to the bar to get a drink and talk about the competition, that was kind of pointless because they went in there. Lotto pulled up and they made her a grand entrance with a pink Lamborghini and a pink fur coat, looking like Nicki Minaj Jr. walking in there, and she just real fly, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you came in here like that? That's how you supposed to roll up." Why? That sounds like a waste of money to me. But I mean, sure, you got to make an appearance, but I think they're just pandering at this point, Luda and Khaled. And then during the little conversation, Lotto maybe said like 5 words, and she didn't contribute to the conversation at all. So I just don't know if she's at a point to be giving out wisdom and tips when she still has a is a budding career and she has not kind of hit her stride yet. She's not hit her prime yet. I mean, I think it would have been great to see Megan Thee Stallion as a judge. She's came through and delivered several number one singles. I mean, even I wouldn't even say she qualifies yet, but even Glorilla. Like I think Glorilla's bigger than Lotto, and they're kind of like in a similar lane to an extent. Different styles, but similar lane. Nicki Minaj, somebody who's been there, done that, and can and talk that shit. You know what I mean? Lotto can't do that yet. She can't, and she just wasn't bringing nothing to the table in this pretty much whole episode. And DJ Khaled too. He quirps and pipes in a little bit here and there, but it's mostly just Ludacris carrying this at this point. But yes, soon they get to audition day number 2. We're in Atlanta again. And they show some duds. People go up there and burn. And then we get this person named Sura Ali from Brooklyn. She seems very knowledgeable. She's like a poet. And she got the swag. I like her. And I think they put her through. I believe they put her through. She did a real melodic, slow flow, but it definitely hit. Then we get this guy named King Hoodie. Not really a fan of the name. Maybe switch that to something. I like Boogie as a hoodie, but King Hoodie, I don't know about that one, coach. He says he lived in an office building. He grew up going to the bathroom in plastic bags. Very tough, very tough upbringing. This man has definitely been through it, and he was nice. But they said they didn't like his stage performance. They said he needs more work. And I think, look, this show, I think the judges are supposed to mold. I don't think you're supposed to be show ready on this show. I think they're confusing that a little bit. I think if you're in there and you're not perfect, that's okay, but you show major potential, I think you should keep them rather than be like, oh, you couldn't do a song with Ludacris right now. You know, you got to be show ready. Can you do a show tomorrow with such and such? I'm like, bro, that's not the point. It's to see the potential, then help them out. You guys are the coaches. You're supposed to coach them and help them out. So that was the part that was a little head scratching me when DJ Khaled said that, and they're making it seem like they got to be show ready today. Yeah, you got to show that you're ready for the moment, but by all means, you're not supposed to be perfect. So I think that's just a little skewed on the judges' stance because they're just viewing these people trying to be like finished products, but they're definitely not. That's why they're competing for a spot on this show. I mean, people get better as the show going, any competition show. So you can't just cut someone because they're quote unquote not ready, in my opinion. But yes, they did not really F with King Hoodie. And Lotto says, another one of her sayings, a million people told me no, but I kept going. She said that in the first episode. She was on a reality show, and I'm pretty sure she won. I'm pretty sure she won. I can double check this because she keeps saying she lost. Oh, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Lotto, did you lose? We're gonna find out real quick. We're gonna find out real quick. Career. Lotto in 2016 became a contestant on the Lifetime series, The Rap Game, produced by Jermaine Dupri and Queen Latifah. The boot camp style series followed a young, aspiring rappers in a competition against one another over a span of 8 weeks. Lotto, under the stage name Miss Mulatto, at the time was the overall winner of the competition. She was offered a recording contract from Dupree with So So Def Records, but ultimately turned down the deal, claiming it was not enough money, opting to be an independent artist. So she won the competition. I'm getting this from Wikipedia, y'all. Why does she keep saying that's how I felt, acting like she lost? It's not making any sense. So is she capping about her whole struggle when you won the competition, but you just turned down the offer? Doesn't make any sense to me. She just doesn't make any sense. But anywho, they said they didn't like his stage presence, King Hoodie and whatnot. Then we get this guy named Sway Royal. He's young, very raw. Could use some work. I didn't mind him that much, but they cut him. This guy named YGB Reaper. He was trash. Good SoundCloud rapper. Though. I think he would blow up on SoundCloud and he's kind of like the stereotypical rapper today. Like he is pretty much who I see all over iTunes, all over Spotify in today's rap game, if you know what I mean. So YGB Reaper, I think he might be the biggest one at all of them, to be honest. This fat girl, that's her name. So I'm not making fun of her because she's fat, but that's her name is Fat Girl. Big as hell. She had ATL Ho tatted on her arm. Whew. Girl, you got to get healthy. Get healthy. That's all I'm gonna say. She did not make it. She was crying and slamming it wasn't fair. Blah blah blah. I was like, bruh, what is this? What is this? And they were so easy on her when she was not good. Crazy. This guy named Jay Taj, he was probably one of the best of the night, if not the best for the night. He was smooth, killed it, West Coast dude, definitely came with the swag. Had the shades on his side, so you come with the shades on, you better pop out and show up. The judges liked him a lot. This guy named Homie Gold is next. And the judges, they liked her. I liked her. She was very original, probably the most original person of the night. Um, she's the one that a lot of, like she's from Dallas and she kind of switched it. She gave a little esque of Nicki Minaj in there, kind of switching her tone a bit, switching characters within the song. And I thought that was really cool because we haven't got to see that at all this competition. but she showed it. And the judges just aren't feeling it. And that's kind of ludicrous. He does that sometimes in his songs. And so he said yes to her, but the other two, Khaled and Lotto, said no. And Lotto's like, where you from? She's like, Dallas. She's like, you don't sound like you from Dallas. And then she's like, well, not all people from Dallas sound the same. It's a big box. It's a big, you know, I don't say cesspool. It's a big melting pot. And Lotto's like, yeah, yeah, you could check me. Tell me that. I want to be checked. But then she's like, no, I don't want her to go through. Hmm. What? Contradiction at its finest. But yeah, they're deciding on if they want this girl to go through, and then episode ends. This episode, I think we lacked a lot of parody, diversity in stories, and just focused too much on the trench babies and their struggle. I get it. Everyone has a struggle. Everyone goes through times. Everyone goes through hard times. But man, it's just like a broken record, and I'm tired of it at this point. It's just playing. It just feels like Victim is playing again and again and again, and the record won't turn off. So I hope next episode we just get something a little different because man, this episode was tiring to get through. I'm just like, is this what all we're gonna be portrayed at and portrayed as in the media? Is just coming from nothing and starving and not having any kind of good life unless this rap game is gonna save us, which is so far from the accurate truth, to be honest. So I hope the show picks up a little because the first episode was cool, it was a nice intro. It's hard to mess up an intro episode, but then this episode was just y'all. Uh, we'll see, we'll see. But anyways, that's my recap of episode 2. Meh. But we'll see what episode 3 brings. So, until next time, y'all, peace, blessings, deuces, and have a great rest of your day.